Hey Brian, good to see you again.
Cheers, buddy.
Listen, I got to tell you, like throughout this week, is there no end to these phishing attacks that keep coming to me via email? It's amazing how many different ways, these hackers attempt to attack us.
Yeah, and I almost opened one on the way up here today on my phone. I
Is
got
that right?
something,
Yeah.
and it was just spoofing my own address, right?
Yeah. So I know this is a focus. Tell me
Yeah.
a little bit more how we're approaching this from an organizational perspective.
Yeah, and one of the things that we want to do is we want to make sure that we really help our clients sort of understand the security landscape. But what I mean is what options do they have that they can actually kind of put in their organization to help protect them?
Yeah. It's a bit overwhelming, isn't it, just to think in terms of what strategies I employ?
Yeah, and so it's kind of a double-headed monster, right? So you've got all this stuff coming in on the attack side, right? Like all these people trying to get you to do things you shouldn't do, and then you've got all these like manufacturers of equipment and software coming at you with like
That's
a
right.
fear-based approach.
Right.
And I don't know how clients make sense of it.
No, I had this exact conversation at the Badger game this weekend. Had this exact conversation with the gentleman next to me.
Yeah.
So break it down for me. How do our clients start to think about this?
Yeah, so we're launching an SVA cybersecurity brand, and we've been in the space for quite some time. But we
Right.
really want clients to understand we're there, and what I think we're doing that may be a little bit different, and what I hope actually happens effectively is the process of really informing a client as to what their options are, and then let them choose what's best for them. So rather than trying to force feed them something that like our way of doing it,
That's right.
you want to go in and you want to talk to them and understand sort of what kind of assets they're trying to protect, how much pressure have they been under, what's their tolerance for risk, what's their budget, right? You don't want to actually bankrupt a company trying to secure it.
That's exactly right.
And then get kind of a feeling for where they're at and what their needs are, and then come back with, okay, here's a management plan. And here's what we can do, and here's like some steps to remediate. Here's some steps to educate your staff, which is a huge part of it, right? And that's fairly inexpensive. And then what's your roadmap long term? How are you going to stay up on it? And so if we do those three things, I think we give our clients just something a little bit different than what's out there in the marketplace, because we hope to help inform them to make smart decisions.
Yeah.
And to deal with what's coming from the attack side and deal with what's coming from the community side, the security community side, and say, hey, this is what fits best for us.
So it's certainly not a one-size-fits-all approach.
Highly consultative.
Perfect.
It's got to be built to what the client needs. It's got to be built to what their tolerance is, how much money they can spend, like all of that stuff, right?
And I think that's what, certainly organizations really don't know what to do and feel like they need to do something.
Yeah.
This approach provides a much more consultative approach to it, rather than here's the line card you just buy without knowing and being informed.
Yeah. And then when the bad thing happens and a quote unquote attack or a breach occurs, you at least have a plan of what you're going to do. You know who to call, you know what steps to take,
Right.
We know how to get engaged, and we know what we're going to do to mitigate the risk.
Yeah, sounds like great preparedness.
Yeah, preparedness is you're going to get attacked, you're going to have a problem. Question
Make a
is, how do
plan.
you respond?
Perfect.
How prepared are you?
Yeah. Well, that sounds great. Wonderful. Well, I'm anxious to see that brand take off
Yeah,
and
me too.
do some good with the clients.
Right on. Rock and roll.